So I feel impelled to have a croissant part deux, about my croissant adventure that we discussed last week. So it's probably why I have bags under my eyes. So it was not hard, but it was a tad on the stressful side.
Why?
It's a lot of touching.
A lot of touching and massage, like a sensory overload. Overload.
So the trick is you do it the night before, right?
Okay.
So the whole idea is you the dough's really easy. You proof the yeast, blah, blah, blah. And then you make the dough and then you pound out butter really thin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really thin, like 1/4 inch. And then you fold it into the dough and roll it out, put it in the fridge. And then you just keep folding and rolling and folding and rolling. But you do it every hour.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's just a lot of like.
So you have to pick the perfect TV show. It's very stressful. You have to have the perfect TV show.
That's something you can binge.
Yeah. It's going to be at least 5 to 6 episodes.
Okay.
That every episode is roughly 45 minutes to 55 minutes.
So
because
you have enough time to pound the butter.
Right. Well, you have to have enough time to like get the show in, get up, go do the thing, then come back. Mm-hmm. Right. So you have to have just enough time. So I would watch an episode. I was watching the Catherine the Great little funny series, right? So that's really actually fun. So I'd been watching that. So it would time out at about like 50 minutes, and then I'd get up and go in there and get the dough, pound it out, blah, 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 roll it out. And so you go through all this stuff for like 5 to 6 hours of this pounding and rolling and pounding around. And then you just like, I don't know, cross your fingers, hope to die, and chuck it in.
Hope it works.
Hope it works the next morning. So I woke up the next morning. And I did post this on Instagram for anybody who's listening, and you can see the pictures at London Beauty Online Instagram. But I woke up the next morning, I was like, well, because it rose. Like that was exciting. It was this little puff of a letter fold. You fold it in threes, like you would fold like an 8 by 10 letter.
I saw on Instagram, like all the like layers.
So then you cut it in half and you can see all those like puffy, fluffy layers. And then you roll it out again and you make the little shapes and you chuck it in the oven. And you put the egg wash on it. And actually, when all was said and done, as stressful as it started, it was really easy the next morning.
Yeah, because you could just toss it in and go.
Correct. So I feel like it's going to be my go-to this summer. So I already committed and ordered from King Arthur Flour the batons of chocolate to put in the chocolate.
What did you use this time? Because the ones that you brought to the store for me had chocolate.
Yeah, those were just little chocolate chips, which I felt like were dangerous because when I was rolling, they could fall out, and there was like lots of rolling chocolate.
You brought me 3.
Yes, I did.
And I ate them all within the first hour of being open.
Well, it's good because I can freeze the dough. You can freeze it rolled out and ready to go. And then you do the whatever. Mm-hmm. So I have to say, for those of you listening we talked obnoxiously about Paris last episode. If you want a little bit of Paris in your home, it is not macro friendly. It is not diet friendly, but you can make them small. Therefore, it is diet friendly.
And that way you can eat 3 of them and not feel
guilty because they're just little, and they're delicious and not super awful. Hard. You don't need special ingredients. You need like butter, flour, eggs, like nothing crazy. So in that sense, they were really great. So that is the update. That is the croissant update. Part deux. About my adventure with French cooking. And so today on the episode, we are not doing anything fun. No. We are doing something on the exact opposite plane. We are going to have a super fun conversation with someone who we're actually super excited to bring into the room today, from a company that I am currently
I think we're both obsessed with.
Haoma Earth, Haoma Skincare. I have it up on the computer too. And of course they have this beautiful, if you go to their website right now, they're highlighting the body cream, which is this stunning yellow color. It looks like sunshine in a jar. So we are going to talk with their education specialist, Samson, and he is zooming in from New York City. His plant babies are all back on the wall. So I already know we're going down the plant baby conversation rabbit hole. But anyhow, welcome, Samson.
Hi.
Hello. We're so
How are we?
to have you here and talk Haoma and other things, of course.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So welcome. Okay, let's just get the plant baby thing out of the way.
Yeah. So, did you start like your little like collection during quarantine? Because that's when I started mine.
So I've always been kind of like a plant lover.
Okay.
So I had a few, but it really started during quarantine just because like I left my old apartment. I came to this one, like finally living alone. So I really beefed it up.
Yeah.
But I have to say that my favorite plant is, I don't know how to work this mirrored thing, but this guy, where is it? This money tree right here. That's my favorite because my neighbor gave me that one before she moved away.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, and
Are
it's.
you allowed to have a favorite plant baby?
Yeah.
I feel like.
Okay, so you are allowed to have a favorite plant one.
I feel like you can.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't get jealous. There's no jealousy in the plant.
I mean, I water them all the same. It's just this one makes me the happiest.
Okay.
I
Sparks joy.
think there are plants that get jealous though, because I've had a few plants that I have bought off Etsy just because like there was only a few that I actually really wanted, but I needed like $2 more to get free shipping. So I just added like a random plant I didn't super care about or know anything about. And I think it purposely died because it knew I didn't really want it.
So dramatic.
Self-sacrificing.
Yeah. It was a purple like velvet plant.
Oh wait, was it a calathea?
I think so.
Purple on bottom, green on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real dramatic. If you don't water them the right way, like as soon as it's a little dry, all the leaves just fall. But then you have to water it and then they'll perk right back up. They're so dramatic. Like they'll wilt in a day and then come right back.
Okay, then maybe it wasn't dead, but I threw it away.
It probably wasn't even dead. You probably just thought that it was.
Murder.
A little bit.
We did have a murdery fish tank though. We've lost a ton of fish. Not that it's like plants, but I swear to God, we've spent.
But every time I lose a plant, I genuinely get upset and I cry.
No, it is upsetting. It's like the fish thing. We have killed a bunch of fish. Well, we didn't. The tank.
We have not.
We did not.
We personally went in.
No, the other fish will eat they'll eat each other.
Yeah.
It's murder.
You have to be careful what you mix.
No, we have a murder tank, and it was like cleared for mixing and everything. Like everyone was supposed to get along, and we had the murder tank. So I don't know. We now maybe don't have a murder tank. It's a little dicey. So I'm worried because of my fish experience about your plants. I'm just saying, you don't want to murder plants. You want to keep everyone happy.
Yeah, no, I think they're all good. I think they're all friends for the most part.
Won't sabotage.
No sabotage. Well, and a cool thing about Haoma. How was that segue? Come on.
You're good at this.
Yeah, I know. Hey. So Haoma plants a tree for every person, right? That I think is the coolest thing for like sustainability and it's because I think for brands it's really hard. Do you do plastic or do you do glass? Like glass is more earth friendly, but it's harder to recycle, and then it's
also heavier, so then you can't like ship as much.
Right.
Have extra,
or if you're shipping, it takes more, gas
and excess packaging because if you have a glass container, it's got to be in sturdier cardboard.
Right.
There's a lot to consider there. But with Haoma, so we not only plant a tree every time you buy anything, which is spectacular. The plastic packaging is actually not plastic. It's plant resin. So it's similar to like Bakelite, but it's not Bakelite with formaldehyde. They use that same process, but they use plant resin instead of formaldehyde.
Oh, that's
to
cool.
create that hard like plasticine layer. So we also work with TerraCycle to recycle all of the Bakelite, synthesized Bakelite through plant resin. We recycle all of the plant resin plastics through TerraCycle, which is a free service for anyone that has our products to use, just to ensure that it's actually getting recycled the right way.
I didn't know that.
But you know what? I think the packaging is so stunning.
Yeah.
I had an eye cream. We'll talk about that in a minute. I had an eye cream and I ran out and I kept looking at the packaging. I was like, it's so pretty because it's black with the gold but very simple. I use it for my earrings.
100%.
Like for travel, that I'm traveling right now, but in my
if we
mind,
were.
Eventually.
but I leave it because all like your little earrings, right? Like the little studs and stuff. It's like the perfect size to keep all your like random earrings, and then you can close it, and they're kind of safe and sound in there. So I do really like that about it. They are pretty and they look pretty sitting out, and so it's a shame to throw them away.
Yeah, it's really the packaging is super easy to reuse. Even like the Temple Balm is some of my favorite packaging because you can easily throw like, your favorite, if you want to use coconut oil on your hair, you can throw it back into the Temple Balm once it's empty and use that as kind of like a, hard oil receptacle, or throw your jewelry in one of those, or like hair ties are perfect in one of those as well. It's the perfect size for hair ties.
Hairpins, hair ties. I love repurposing some of these beautiful packages, and you guys do a really great job with that. And I have to tell you, when we first got it in, so my funny Haoma story is that when it was, we get pitched at London Beauty a lot of lines, and it's hard because you love a lot of things, but you have to make sure it's right for your clients, that, it feels right. So when I was told, oh, you're going to be getting this CBD line, I was like, ugh, because we have seen a lot of CBD lines.
And I remember when it came in, Kathleen literally was just like, you take it home. Like, she was like, I don't care. Like,
and I don't even think I opened the box because
that's so funny.
We've had such bad experiences with CBD because it isn't skincare. It's a derivation of some form of CBD. It's not ingredient driven. So it doesn't feel elevated. It doesn't feel, whatever. It didn't have clean ingredients. It was literally like, here's some CBD and we just have to package it with some skincare instead of it.
100%. It's like, hey, here's some Vaseline with some CBD in a plastic container.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No one wants that. Yeah.
And so when it came in, and then Amelia took some home, I ended up taking it. She was like, look, I'm like, oh, it is kind of pretty. So then I ended up taking some home, and I fell in love with so many aspects of it. So I feel like we should walk through, because it's a pretty small line right now, but it is growing. So we should walk through it in general, I think, because I could like go off about each line, each part of the brand. But I know a favorite for you and a favorite for me and a favorite for Amelia is the first step, which is
cleansing balm.
Cleansing balm.
Cleansing balm is my baby. I'm obsessed with that product.
So nice.
So right off the bat, the cleansing balm is kind of magical because, obviously you apply it to dry skin. But what I love about it is that you can basically endlessly massage it into your skin, effectively removing all of your makeup. So like I've had a full face of drag on, glued down eyebrows, 3 sets of lashes, lash glue all over, gemstones and everything. And I can take just, a dollop of that cleansing balm, really warm it up in my hands and just continually massage my face. And I jump in the shower and I have nothing left on my skin. It's super smooth. All of the redness is gone. Because that's the thing with Haoma, is that we use CBD intelligently. It's not just
toxin.
Yeah, it's not CBD for the sake of having it. It's CBD because it's an amazing anti-inflammatory. So everything is
red. It's amazing.
It's honestly. So the cleansing balm is just kind of like it's like a 2-step cleanse in one product, which I think is my favorite thing about it, because it allows you to be a little lazy but still ritualistic. So you get the benefits of doing like a 2 or 3-step cleanse while only having to do one.
You totally busted me, because I think that's why I love it.
It's because you get I love it. With it. Yeah.
Because you get like the effects of a double cleanse in one. So I do it. I have like a very fine like muslin linen washcloth. So it's not like your standard like scrubby washcloth, just one of those like super fine muslin linens. And I put it on my face on dry skin, like massage it around really quickly while I have to share a bathroom, the worst. And so in between, the boys and the nonsense, I massage it into my skin, and then I take a warm towel and Ayurvedic. I always say that word wrong.
100% Ayurvedic, yeah.
Did I? I'm horrible. So I take it. I'm acting like people can really see me. So I put it over my whole face warm and let it sit for 2 seconds, and then I swipe it all off.
Yep.
And I brush my teeth and I go to bed.
It's perfect. It's so easy.
Oh, so great.
So easy.
And it looks like honey.
Yeah.
It's a really good consistency. And what I love about it too is that it's got that honey consistency, but then it's really emollient. So you can use it with a gua sha for facial massage. It's amazing.
That's
I
like
love
a new
it.
layer.
I use it a lot with the also I use it and then I use the sponges from Mac and I right after.
Yeah, so good.
Oh,
so
interesting. Good. Yeah, no, I'm obsessed with that product. And that was really the first part of the rabbit hole that I went down. And then I was like, all right, Amelia, send it back my way.
I'll try it.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, so next up, Samson, is the
serum. So we have the serum,
which is like one of my personal favorites.
She loves the serum.
Me too. She gets slept on.
I literally, everyone like comes in and they want to try it, but they usually go for like the day cream first, or they go for the cleansing balm, and I'm just like, no, try this first.
Yeah, the serum is so good. Yeah, it's got colloidal gold, which is my favorite ingredient in that entire formula, which like obviously the whole formula is amazing. But the colloidal gold is actually antibacterial and antimicrobial just inherently. So when it's included in this product, when you use it, it can actually help to prevent bacterial infection, which is breakouts from, our mask. Because that's the one thing is that when any of my clients complain about getting maskne, my first question is, are you using mouthwash? And they'll wear their masks for, 10 hours a day, never use mouthwash. And then they get all these breakouts, this perioral dermatitis. And I'm like, duh, it's from your mouth. So if you use something with gold in it in this area, if you're not able to use mouthwash or whatever, it'll help to prevent bacterial infection so that if you are drying out, you at least have this layer that's kind of protecting the skin.
That's so interesting because we've had some women come in with that issue, not just me, but really bad periodontal like dermatitis. And one of the interesting things is too, as we've kind of gone down this path with them, they're obviously working with a dermatologist and working with, usually someone who's food related, to figure out if they're allergic to things. But what's been interesting is having a mouthwash or a toothpaste that doesn't have a ton of chemicals in it. Because that also seems to be a huge thing. So making sure that your toothpaste and mouthwash doesn't have like the dirty dozen in it.
Absolutely. Well, and it's so hard in the United States because so little cleansing products for personal hygiene are regulated. I don't think toothpastes are regulated at all. I use David's personally because I like it. It works. So that's what I use. But then again, I also still use an antibacterial Listerine, which I could not tell you what's in that.
A lot of alcohol is all I got to say.
That's fine with me. Dry it out.
Too funny. So the colloidal gold is a really cool component. And last week we had a Japanese line on and they focus a lot on gold, different, actually putting gold leaf on your face, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So gold is this amazing ingredient, and colloidal silver, obviously, people have been talking about like how to use that. Actually, the military uses colloidal silver in their medic bags that you can actually like take in like a tablespoon.
Oh, really?
To help with like bacterial warfare and stuff. And this was years ago I heard this, but they were working on different things in medic kits to help the soldiers in case like for water or bacterial stuff, because colloidal gold and obviously colloidal gold is more expensive, and colloidal silver have antimicrobial properties. And fun fact, that's why the wealthy were less apt to get the plague straight away back in the Middle Ages, because they had silver utensils as opposed to wooden or lead. But they had actual silver utensils as opposed to some of the other stuff. So they were already like, their stuff didn't have all that bacteria and stuff.
Right, because what they were eating with was killing bacteria as it was picking food up. Yeah, that's a really cool point. I love that.
Yeah, and that's true for the gold. So that serum, I know Amelia loves it. It has aloe in it too.
Yeah, aloe and plant stem cells, obviously CBD. So it is just a great serum by itself, just for hydration and glow and plumping and all of that kind of inherent anti-aging benefit. As we say, anti-aging, which truly nothing is really anti-aging. It's kind of just a buzzword at this point.
We like to say well aging.
Yeah. Yes. So a preservation, if you will.
Yeah.
So this serum is really good for preservation and just kind of keeping everything in line the way that we want it to be. So that's what I love about it, is that it can be used during the day to protect or during the night to treat and replenish. So it's kind of a multifaceted serum that a lot of people don't really realize is so sophisticated.
So, in your opinion, when people say like, well, should I use it at night? Should I use it during the day? People get I think particularly Gen X and up grew up with that attitude of like, oh my gosh, I have my day routine. I have my night routine. Like if it works for night, I shouldn't use it during the day, and vice versa. Because that was, I mean, if you think back, I mean, that was really, your mother, your grandmother, whatever, like that was a thing. You had a night thing and you had a day thing. So there is a night cream and a day cream. We should talk about the difference, but that serum is really any time.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing too, like with Haoma, like day and night are kind of suggestive, because it's not like either one of the creams is inherently exfoliating or overactive where you can't use one or the other. Like I have clients who use the night cream during the day and the day cream at night. It just depends on like I'll use the day cream as like a serum before my night cream, because the night cream is so occlusive and the day cream is such a humectant. So like I use them a bit differently than maybe some of my clients do, but that's just because it's all customized. And the homage, I think, got lost a lot too. The whole like day and night routine. People will still use actives and treatments during the day and then also use them at night and then wonder why their skin is so sensitized, when really the main function of your skin is you need to protect it during the day and then treat it and replenish it at night. That's kind of the goal that we're after when we separate a day and night routine. So whatever products do that for you, you can just use,
Because we get that. We've talked about this endlessly on the podcast.
I think every podcast.
About the fact that people come in and are like, I have sensitive skin.
And then come in and also tell us that they use tea tree oil to wash their face.
Or
every day and night, twice a day.
Yeah, vitamin C from the health food store.
Straight skin.
Right.
Like, really? Or, whatever. So,
unbuffered ingredients.
There are reasons. There are chemists. Like there are reasons. There are people who took the time to do the homework and do the research.
Right.
Why reinvent the wheel? Right. Like let these people who are qualified. Thank you. To do this, do it. Right? Like this is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I love that, because I found that the night cream worked better for me because I need that extra like hit. I'm too proud. Maybe because I'm old, maybe because I'm Irish, maybe because I'm super white. I don't know. But one of those things makes me super dry.
Yeah.
And
to be honest with you, you probably also use a lot of humectant serums or, really hydrating toners. So the day cream you probably don't really need because it's a humectant. It's going to pull water, but you already use a bunch of humectants during the day, I'm sure. So you need that, because the night cream is very occlusive. It's like that whipped kind of texture. So the night cream, in my opinion, is just more of a finishing layer. So like you can use it day or night, whichever one you need. It's focused on long-term hydration, and that's really its key function. Because the serum is doing all the work for you.
Doing the heavy lifting. And then the day cream, the thing we love pointing out. So we have a young girl who is a teenager who got hooked on it because she had very active acne. Because she's athletic and she's busy, and that's hormones and everything else. I don't know why I call it hormones, like fancy word. She loved it because that day cream on top of it with the serum is calming because of CBD, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. But then it has the malachite in it.
Yep.
So it has a slightly green. I wish people could see it. Like you'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
With that green tone. So between the CBD and the malachite, you get like an instant reduction of redness, which is very cool.
Right. And so that green color comes from turmeric, which is naturally brightening.
Mm,
Very small amounts of it. We didn't want to use too much to make it, to the point where it made your face yellow or left a tint, but it was
right.
just enough to change the color of the cream. And then the malachite, which is inherently blue. The two of those things together makes that kind of greenish color, which is great because it's when you apply it, it does disappear on the skin. It's not like it
Mhm.
leaves a cast of
No.
green,
Mm.
but it is just inherently redness reducing without having to be like, a pastel green makeup primer.
Right.
Because I can't stand those.
Mm,
Oh,
no.
nothing will make you ashy or gray quicker than a green makeup primer. So I love having even the day cream just in my kit because it's a translucent green. So it's not like a green that's going to lay heavy on the skin.
No, exactly, and that
Yeah.
that leads us to another gripe that we have all the time about, like, the stop putting red lipstick under your eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Stop trying to color correct when you don't really need like, who walks around like that every day? I'm not in a
The amount
photo
of coverage
shoot.
that people have to do to counteract
Mm.
the like underpainting that they're doing. Like there's a reason why color correcting is done by professionals, and it's because they know how. And I'll see people use like lipstick that's this red on
Yes.
like my complexion.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing? You should use just like something a little bit pinker than your skin.
And then it's
Like,
not even like they just put like a little dollop. They like do
right.
the whole triangle.
No, yeah,
under
their
your
whole face.
eye.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
it's all clickbait.
Yeah.
it is clickbait, but
Well, but that's the issue though, because
Yeah.
it is clickbait, but then normal
Try to
people,
actually do that.
think like that's actually how you use it.
there is
No.
someone, in my I have 2 people actually randomly in my life that I see this on. I'm not
Oof.
gonna admit to where, but I'm always like, wow. First of all, it's aging. It's
Yeah.
Yes.
aging. I don't care if you're 25 or if you're
Ugh.
55, it makes you look older.
Yeah.
Secondly, there's not enough moisturizer in the world to counteract all that. I tried it. I did it as a blog on
Yeah.
our website because I did the red lipstick and I
Yep.
did just regular concealer.
And there honestly wasn't that much of a
Mhm.
difference.
There was hardly.
No, and that's the thing is it doesn't add any coverage. It just adds more product.
So then you
Like-
get the creasing and like the
Yes.
under your eye for no
That's
reason.
the thing that I don't think anyone understands. Like, as a makeup artist, when I'm talking to people about how to color correct, they'll be like, "Oh, how do I color correct this giant bruise?" And I'm like, "You don't.
I
do." Like, you should not try. I'll teach you. It's going to take a lot. I literally had to get certified to do it because it's a whole process. It's not just like you slap some lipstick on it, set it with powder, put foundation over top of it. Like you're making a swamp, and it's like it's not good.
You're making a swamp.
That's what it is.
But I think that's that whole, first of all, I've always had good skin, knock wood,
Mm-hmm.
never had lots of breakouts or anything.
Right.
So I'm very fortunate that way. I'm very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But I always took care of my skin.
Right.
I was obsessed with skincare and taking care and makeup and all the things, but I never went to bed with my makeup on. I mean,
Right.
maybe on a drunk night in college, but
Right.
I mean, I literally always took care of my skin and always did that. And I can honestly tell you, like, skin is beautiful. Like I am so like when I clean my face and put moisturizer on and like do all the things and I look at my skin, I'm like, oh, I look way better than when I try really hard.
And I noticed too, like when I go in like streaks of like wearing makeup or like a lot of makeup for like weeks and on, and kind of when I do that, my skincare takes a back seat just because like my makeup has taken so much time.
That's so funny. For me, I feel like I go into overdrive. Like if I'm when I wear eye makeup like this, like I really don't have a lot on my skin. Like I'll wear like a tinted moisturizer and a bronzer, but then I'll like go ham on my eyes because I just get bored. So like I'll just go off and I'll try to do something really natural and I end up, an hour later with like this crazy eye look. But then my skincare is like tripled down. Like I triple cleanse and like, but I feel like that's because I also I'm very much 10 years as a makeup artist, I've learned, what can happen if you don't take care of your skin the right way and you don't do those things like triple cleanse when you wear a lot of synthetic eyeshadow or whatever, you know?
Well, and I hate to say it, but I don't do drag at night. And
Right.
I'm not doing drag at the office, and I'm not trying to do drag. So I'm also not in a photo shoot every day.
Right.
So at some point, you have to realize like your glow, who you are as an individual, really should shine through. I mean, that's the beauty of using great skincare, and then rock an eye look, rock red, whatever it is that you feel like rocking that day.
Right.
But you don't have to do it all. My God.
No. Well, and that's the thing too, is I feel like there's something to be said about, you know, like I personally don't love Coco Chanel due to her past, but she did say some very smart things. And, you know, taking one thing off before you leave the house mentally, I always will omit one piece of makeup no matter what I'm doing. Like I always want to see myself in it unless I'm doing literal drag. But you know, like I'll go nuts, but you can still see me through it. Like I'll wear rhinestones glued all over my face, but the skincare portion is still there.
Right.
You know, you still let your skin breathe. And that's the thing that I teach my clients too, is that layering multiple products efficiently is much better and smarter and looks much better than just putting full coverage everything all over. Because there's no need to mask yourself.
Yeah.
So I hate to even say it. I became obsessed with Chanel at 15. It's what got me into luxury. So I worked we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
I worked in New York City in the luxury world. And actually, I almost had my dream job at Chanel at one point, working in the Soho Chanel as a manager. Long story, whatever. Chanel is crazy. They're still a private company, and they have some crazy stuff. But the thing that's so funny, she was, first of all, you can become completely obsessed with her. But you can't really like her because she was kind of awful.
She was so awful. Like she was awful, like an awful human.
And she dated the Nazi. Let's just
She was a Nazi. She was literally a private detective.
Yeah, and she was kicked out of Paris and lost her business, and it had to go to her like long.
Who was it? Reagan. I think that like granted her amnesty in the United States. I forget if it was Reagan or somebody else. It might have been somebody else, but
it was maybe
one of the American presidents granted her amnesty.
She was able to come back, and this other a Frenchman who was like a friend of hers, and maybe even another lover, whatever. So much drama, but I was obsessed with her. So fun Parisian story, because you know I like to be completely off topic. I went years ago when I was in, I don't know, I was living in New York at the time. Anyhow, a bunch of girlfriends and I went to Paris because, you know, it's like my Mecca. So I went and I was like, I am going to La Durée and I'm going to Chanel. Those are the two places I go every time I go. And these girls were being so ridiculous about like the Parisians and this, that, and the other. And I sat, because, you know, Chanel had lunch at La Durée every day. She walked from her store down the street to La Durée, which is the, you know, pastries, but they have actually delicious food. I am getting an omelet with frisee salad, and then I'm getting that ridiculous pink dessert. I didn't even know what was in it. It was pink, and I was going to get it, and I was going to eat it, and I was going to have my omelet with like fresh herbs and my salad. These girls were being so ridiculous. I just looked at them and was like, I don't care. You can leave. I am sitting here with my salad and my pink dessert. And I don't care if that waitress is a horrible person to me. And the Parisians are never really mean to me. They laugh at me.
Right.
Well, American and painful. But they're never mean to me. They ultimately kind of give in to my ridiculousness. But I swear, like, you aren't allowed to like Chanel, but you can kind of idolize her, because it's true what you said, like taking one thing off.
Right.
Do a glitter cut crease, red lips, full thick brow. Like, oh my gosh, girl, like take
Well, it's like, listen, like, and I understand too, like the need to have that form of expression. And like, if you feel that that's you, by all means, I'm not going to tell you no, but I am going to warn you that there is a lot of upkeep that goes with that. Because I have the same philosophy when it comes to like plastic surgery. Like, do I approve of all of the plastic surgery that some people do? No, but it is in my place? No, because it's their body. So like, do whatever you want. But also, I'm in the business of makeup. So like, I can tell you a few things about it, and my opinions,
right.
So
there's a real opinion there, yeah.
Right. It's not just some chatterbox peanut gallery stuff. Like there's a method to the madness,
and there's years of experience to it. Which again gets us back to that whole skincare thing.
Right.
Go do drag at night.
Right.
Take your makeup off. Take
it off.
Cream.
If you put it on, take it off. You're not going to wear an evening gown, all day in your house. You could.
Why?
But why would you?
Why would you ruin that, expensive gown? So my other favorite product was actually next on the list.
The eye cream.
The eye.
So good.
I love it.
I think
the eye cream.
Both at our age, like we're not like we can both use that eye cream.
Yes. Oh, 100%. I use it all the way around my eyes, like 360. And I even do, I don't know if you guys know that like trick of like tricking your eyebrow muscles, but I'll take it and like I'll run underneath my eyebrows with my fingers and just like hold it here. And then I take my fingers and do like little steps up my face and it like lifts. Or I have like a little, oh, here it is. I have a little massager that I'll use.
Oh.
Then I'll like take this and then the little baby side and I use it to like put all my eye creams on. And then I also use it to like lift the face. So you can use a gua sha too, but I love the eye cream for that because it's super emollient.
It is. It moves. There's movement to it. You can tap it gently on. I have facial cups and I have the little and then I'll massage around there too.
Yes.
Like, with those. But it is like Amelia uses it. I use it.
And I swear, like on days, like, because I usually keep it in my cosmetic bag, but there's always days where like I can't find it or whatever. So I don't. And I swear it helps so much with like my concealer. Like
it doesn't dry out.
It doesn't dry out, and it does. It makes it so my concealer doesn't like crease.
Yeah, 100%.
I love it.
But it has tightening. So what is that?
Yes.
What is that?
So it's got
and it hydrates.
So it's yarrow and nettle. Yarrow is super brightening just inherently. It's like this bright yellow flower. It's like the one that it's like a bunch like this. And then nettle is actually what Eeyore eats. It's the purple topped like thistle is nettle. It's like a type of nettle. And nettle is actually incredibly activating. It's very penetrative. Because the way that it's molecularly, like when they extract the nettle and get that nettle extract that's actually in the eye cream, the molecular structure is such a way that it's able to like get in through the cracks of the skin cells, kind of like salicylic acid.
Feel it?
Yes. So it works in it's very similar to salicylic acid, but not astringent, so it doesn't burn. So it's able to kind of disrupt that connection and get deeper in the cells, but not in a volatile way. So it's allowing water. It's kind of like a little straw, and the water is able to pass through it with like all of those really penetrating actives that are in that eye cream.
Yeah, because I've been using it. I mean, literally since we've gotten like the samples from you guys that very first time, I've used it almost every day since then. So that's
so good. It's so good.
No, it's not quite a year, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm on like jar number 2.
Yeah,
I love it.
And that kind of does a lot for us because we're always like through new products, testing stuff out.
And there are things that I like. Granted, not everything is for every skin, right?
Right.
I totally get that.
100%.
But actually, I do want to talk about the Temple Balm, and I'm going to take like a momentary pause.
Yeah.
We're super excited because as per usual, we have our little Easter egg. What's the code, Amelia?
We said Haoma Citizen.
Haoma Citizen. We're kind of into that. So you guys were generous enough to donate. I'm acting like people can see this. I mean, if you watch on Instagram, you can see this. There's a super cute little black pull-tie bag pouch, which I would actually use for my computer cable.
Oh, that's a good idea.
This is like
that's a good idea.
size for your computer cable and your cord because it's just the right size for that brick. But anyhow, inside, if you use your Haoma Citizen code online or mention it in store at londonbeautyonline.com, the host of this podcast, you get also a really great little eye cream. Speaking of our favorite little sachet, and you get a cleansing balm, like little mini travel size or mini, whatever. And then a full size Temple Balm. So I got to talk about Temple Balm for a hot minute. So
it has so many uses.
So many uses. But I'm going to tell you the craziest use. So confession time, I ended up with COVID. Thank you, junior sports. We're not even going to talk about that, but whole family went down with it because of sports and kids and, whatever. And one of the side effects we had, both me and my significant other, not the kid, of course, he was asymptomatic, thanks, was pain in my back, like across my top, like my shoulder blades, and you can't get to it. And so I was like, I can't even, like Advil wasn't doing, nothing was doing it. And so I had Temple Balm at home. And so I also have a massaging tool, kind of like the one you have, has little nubbies on it. And so I chucked it at the man and said, "You're put this on my back." Now, spat. And he did. And I'm telling you, no pain.
Yep.
And I had used it on my temples, during a headache, or on, like, I love it at night, like on my shoulders and the back of my neck back here. But I am telling you, no joke, it got rid of it.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's amazing for pain. I love it for like the soles of the feet while you're winding down for bed, because it does have lavender in it. So it's really like lavender, lemongrass. I believe there's also vetiver in there as well. So it's just super calming, Ayurvedic wise. So I love it. I'll use it around my fingernails when I paint my nails to protect my nail bed.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's really good. You just slather it on and then use a Q-tip to take it off your nail. Super lovely. And it protects your skin. Use it on your temples. I tip my nose with it when I put my mask on and I'm like going out about through the day, because I hate the way that the surgical masks smell.
Yeah.
So it takes just a little bit, put it here. If you slather it on your feet at night, it'll help you fall asleep, or you can put a little bit in the center of your foot during the day to help ease foot pain from standing all day.
Because I mean, this is a full size in this Haoma Citizen promo code gift bag, and
it's $45.
It's a $45 gift, and on top of it, it's like miraculous.
It is. I use it a lot for like my period cramps.
Oh, fair enough.
All over my tummy.
Yep.
The heating pad on.
Yep.
And didn't your mom use it at one point?
My mom back in December had this like crazy surgery because she was like missing a disc in between two of her like.
Oh my gosh.
Her vertebrae, or I don't know, spine stuff.
Yeah.
So she was
right.
So she
lady spine stuff.
She had to have like this crazy surgery and had to have like a metal plate and like rods put in her neck. And she's just not like a pill person. So she didn't really want to have to take all the pain medication that they were giving her or whatever. So she did for like the first 2 days after surgery. And then she just kind of like sat with the pain.
Right.
I was feeling so horrible for her. So I remember like she came into the store probably like 3 months after her surgery and finally able to like walk and stuff.
Right.
And I remember she just came and she like plopped on the couch and she was like about to cry. She hurt so bad. And I was like, oh. So I like rubbed some of the stuff on her like neck, and she kind of just like didn't react to it at first.
It doesn't hit right away.
No,
it's like it lingers.
Yeah. She was like, I don't know, this didn't do anything. Like I remember she was like, this hippie stuff like is weird. It didn't work. and then she called me on her way home, like an hour, 45 minutes later, and she was like, oh my, like she was almost in tears again. She was just like, it feels so much better.
And it does feel, I'm not going to lie, it is a little hippy dippy.
Yeah.
For real. You're like, I don't know, it's temporary. Whatever.
Right.
Whatever. It feels a little hippy dippy, but man, does it work?
It works.
It does. And
even I use it a lot for like anxiety.
Yes.
So
it's really good for that.
I just like put it right on like my wrist usually, and I can rub it together, and then I just make myself breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll typically say for kids that get really anxious, you can take it and put it on their wrists and the back of their ears, and then have them cover their face, as long as they're not claustrophobic, because then they'll get a really deep inhale and just close their eyes and inhale for 3 seconds, exhale for 3 seconds to make them like stop their brain, reset, and then kind of get back into it.
Well, and the other kind of sleeper product. So I have a favorite lip balm, not gonna lie. It's been my favorite. It's like an $8 lip balm by Province Apothecary. I thought nothing ever
could top it.
Ever. And then Haoma came in. And I was like,
it's really good.
It's nice. I'm not gonna lie. And I was like, it's like it came in and I felt like I was cheating even using it. I was like, I'm obsessed with this other one. And I have to say, like, I tell people it is really, really good.
Yeah, it's great under a mask because it's matte. So it doesn't have that glossy stickiness. And that has, I believe, bergamot and rosemary. So it's really anti-inflammatory, but also really good just to soothe dry lips. But I actually, fun fact, I'll take it and put it on my finger and tap it down before I do eyeshadow. So I actually used it as my primer today.
That's
a great idea. Yeah, that's a really cool tip to try it as a primer. And Haoma's got so there's also the earth soap, which is really great because you can cut it in half. We shared one. We cut one in half and we each took one. And
it's huge.
They're huge. And you can use it face to decongest. You could use it on your body.
I love it for like my body, especially like I haven't done it since like COVID started again, but like working out, when I was working out a lot, I get a lot of like back knee just because like if I don't come home and like shower right away or just like my sweaty sports bra sitting on my skin. And within a week of me trying that, like the acne on my back was like cleared up.
It's super clarifying because the clays that are in it, and then it also uses sand as an exfoliant, so it's got light exfoliation that's not really aggressive, but does help to get rid of that kind of like little breakouty stuff. But then it also has the clays which are detoxifying and pulling out all of that infection.
Stuff coming too. I know there's some like new stuff in the pipe. Super exciting. So what is some of the newness? I know, like just generally speaking, I know we don't.
So we've got 2 lines that we're gonna do right now. We have the first line already kind of like which you are experiencing with the soap and the deodorant. Those are both part of the Earth line, which I believe it's supposed to come out. I think it's projected for like the beginning or end of summer 2021. So it's coming up very soon, which is the finishing of the Earth line, which is super exciting. It's all just based on clays, like literally earth-based things. So there's some fun stuff on the way for that. Exfoliation is kind of key with the Earth line. So that's a little hint on what to expect. And then I think in 2022 spring, like is projected for the mycelium line, which is all mushroom based products. And there is such good stuff. I tried some of the stuff they sent me, like a little batch of some of the masks and stuff from the mushroom line. And oh my God, the textures are insane. It's super hydrating, really, really calming, but using kind of this different frontier and kind of considering the microbiome of the face, which I think is really cool. Not like, the current products obviously do as well, but the mycelium line is it's so sophisticated in such a different way, in such a different world, that I'm really excited to see everything that comes out from that.
Well, and mushroom is huge. Yeah. I mean, all the different mushrooms, even in powdered proteins and look at what Moon Juice is doing out of California with all their like activated mushroomy blah 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 and actually the mushrooms, the reishi mushroom, I think is in all their dusts, their brain dust, sex dust, all their dusts. And actually we looked at London Beauty at carrying Moon Juice at one point, or like the dusts, right? But it's a little not it for us, like we're just not going to move it enough, but I think it's a really cool product.
Totally.
And I think that mushroom component is huge because there's a ton of science behind what those mushrooms can do, which I think is really cool.
Well, and it's just it's a really intelligent ingredient, which I'm really excited about. Like to use mushrooms, the way that mushrooms break down and the way mushrooms break things down is just so unique and intelligent. And
Mhm.
it does have a lot of variables that need to be accounted for in formulation, which I think is something that Haoma is really working on. And like that's kind of why it's projected so far in the future, just because it's been in the works for quite a long time already. But it's an intelligent, adaptive kind of a product, which I think is truly the future of skincare. It's stuff that grows with you and changes with you and adapts to what your skin needs rather than trying to guess and figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
No, it's super crazy, and I love Haoma is thinking along those lines. And like I said, everything they're doing, I think, is so fascinating because it is relevant and not trendy. CBD is super trendy, but they're not putting it in as listen, you might pick CBD up the first time because it's like, oh, CBD, I'm going to try it. But this is actual ingredients with an actual purpose in actual skincare. Like I can't emphasize that enough. And so I'm excited to see with the mushroom in the earth because everything you guys do is so intentional. And I love that. I really love the intention.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that back up because that was another piece that I wanted to touch on, kind of like circling back to how we introed, which is really great. Is that Haoma also has a list of ingredients and plants that we won't use. And the reason why is because they're either endangered, they're very fragile, they're very volatile, like whatever. So to me, as someone who like loves my plants, I don't want any of not like my plants are endangered, but like, if I were protecting something so sacred like blue tansy or, other flowers that are really rare that, all they're really giving you is vitamin A. So you can get that from a lot of different realms. Haoma believes that, you can get it from things like nettle, which is technically a weed, but like you get really dope doses of vitamins from things that are seen as nuisances if you're treating them kind of appropriately and using their whole body as an ingredient that can help us too. So like that's kind of where everything is headed, is just using things really intelligently.
It is. It's really thoughtful and
speaks a lot to like the integrity too.
It speaks a lot to the integrity. It speaks a lot to that, like using ingredients thoughtfully, which I think we all need to do more of just in life, right? Like being more thoughtful. I think if anything, the pandemic has brought that forward, like being more thoughtful and intentional. And on a funny side note, I think I told you this on the side. Amelia did a flower reading.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Right. And you said you had the cards.
I do. Yeah.
And I think it's so cool because that intention, right? Like you can believe it, not believe it, think we're hippies, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I think it is really interesting because it does create a certain intention or a certain like colors draw you, right?
Yeah.
Things. And that doesn't mean that, like if I'm drawn to pink, whatever, but that doesn't mean that everything in my world needs to be pink. Just like I'm drawn to a certain ingredient, that doesn't mean that that's the only ingredient or that's the only plant or that's the only way to get that result. So I love that we can find it in different ways, but you guys need to talk plant cards, man.
I super didn't know. So Kathleen actually got the reading for me for my birthday, and I really didn't know what to expect going in. I was kind of like, I don't want to say I wasn't nervous, but I was just like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what this is, but it was a really cool experience. And like, it was just so, I don't know. It was just so odd to me how like literally picking out flowers and then flipping them over and like reading the meaning behind it. I was like, wow, like that literally is where I'm at in my life currently.
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool to go back and do like a second reading to see like
to verify it. Yeah, that's really cool.
It was just
I love that.
One time or
And it was from a neighbor of ours. So we have this really amazing esthetician who moved into a building behind us in the middle of the pandemic. A crazy turn of events. And it's really great because she deals with actually clean skincare and beauty in her facial practice. So it's a very harmonious, synergistic situation for us and her. So we love it. It's called Simply Skin. And we really love her as an esthetician and her team. But it was really funny because I was in there one day talking to her, and she had this whole setup, and I was like, "What is that?" And she's like, "Oh, it's a flower reading." Da da da.
Mhm.
I was like, clearly Amelia needs to come and do this.
When I was in Savannah, there was this thing called the Savannah Bazaar, and like I used to like wire wrap jewelry and stuff. And this witch that I knew in Savannah would sell like seed reading packets where she would take all of these different seeds and shake out like 10 or 15 of them and put them in a little satchel. And then, you know, when you would plant them and when they would grow, she had a little email. You would email her and be like, these are the ones that grew. And then she would tell you the meanings of every flower and like the importance of how it's doing, like, you know, as it sprouts or whatever, which one sprouts first or whatever. So it was cool because it was like plant identification, but then also like this weird divinity that was like totally happenstantial, you know?
Oh my God. So
I
no
like
one can say
that.
that we're not super hippy dippy.
No, I love it.
I love it. Right. So here's a funny fun fact, historic fun fact. That's also women based. Do you
Ooh.
know why we hunt for eggs on Easter?
I think I might know.
Is it something like fertility based?
No.
Okay, I don't
Well,
know.
Oh, because I thought it had to do with Ostara, because Ostara is the pagan tradition that eggs were like the symbol of fertility for the goddess of Ostara.
Yes, but that doesn't explain why you hunt for them.
Oh, no, I
That's
don't
why
know.
they're planted.
What
But
do you-
Oh,
crazy pilgrim Christian missionaries
uh-huh,
decided that the pagans, and this was in a bunch of places,
right.
the way to root out a witch in Salem or wherever was to go hunting for eggs in their yard. And that's how you'd be identified as a witch.
As if you had eggs in your yard?
If you had buried eggs.
Because, yeah, but that's a practice within the pagan tradition is to bury the eggs for Ostara. That makes sense.
Exactly. So that's how they would identify you as a witch,
Wow.
dig up the eggs. So this little wacky tradition that is an
Wow, it's
Easter
a witch
tradition
hunt.
is a witch hunt. P.S.
All right, from now on, we're hiding eggs with our kids, not making our kids find them.
Right? It's just a fact. But I mean, it's so crazy because, I mean, obviously from, you know, I think I learned that in like a feminist literature class.
That sounds like it. I love that, though.
Right? Isn't that crazy? But I mean, it makes sense because,
Mhm.
you know, obviously the midwives and the witches and the druids and the whomevers were doing that.
Yeah.
So in this uber, you know, judgmental, and that's not, I'm not dissing Christianity
Right,
at all. I'm not. I have
right,
firm beliefs of my own, but
right.
it, and it's not. I'm not trying to besmirch faith in that
No,
sense. But
of
this
course.
was in the past a way to find and root
That
out
is so
women, particularly
Wild.
pregnant women
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
were practicing the arts of, you know, fertility,
right,
and trying in the village using other avenues than Christianity
right.
to practice a faith. And I thought,
Imagine where we would be right now if everyone was just allowed to have done that and not murdered for practicing religion. Like, imagine how cool life would be in the United States, how far that artistry would have really truly gone.
Yeah.
well, it's that plant, it's looking at the earth.
Right,
So like
right.
I worked, again, super sidebar. I worked for the National Museum of the American Indian years ago doing fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting because I was completely green in my understanding. I was brought in to do corporate membership. I'm completely green.
Mm-hmm.
And in trotted my colleague who was in charge of PR and marketing, and he plopped all these books on my desk. And he was native. His he had been raised on a reservation, and he plopped all this stuff on my desk, and it said like 500 nations, all this stuff, and I was like, OMG, like I am in way over my head.
Oh no.
But I will tell you, there, like I ended up being at this doing the fundraising for this museum and through 9/11.
Mm.
The museum at that time, like the Skywalkers and the people who helped build New York were the Mohawks, and they had done a lot with building New York, and we were a base camp for the discovery and the kind of bad stuff, trying to clear out, not the site and everything. But anyhow, it was really cool because I was involved in a lot of smudges and a lot of Native American healing tradition because of 9/11. But it was really cool because they are all about putting back in the earth. Anytime they take something from the earth, whether it's they've killed an animal, they've pulled their corn for the season, whatever, they put tobacco in the earth, and they sprinkle tobacco in the earth, and because they're giving back. So they've killed deer because they're going to eat the deer, and at the deer who they've now just killed, they sit and they say like a little blessing, and they put some tobacco in the earth, and then they take the deer and they use all the parts. And it was really interesting to see in an urban environment like where you live in New York City, how they translated that on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I mean, it does still exist, but it
was so stunted though.
Yes, exactly.
Which is so sad. It would be really beautiful to see that, as, because really, at the end of the day, Native tradition is the only culture America truly could know. And it was unfortunately stolen from the natives and unable to be shared because of that. Like, if this were truly a native nation, it would be really beautiful.
Well, and in some ways it would be wild, because let me tell you, they were no joke. They were murdering sons of bitches. Like, they were no joke. There is a reason there was a contract on the East Coast, which we used for, historic purposes. I mean, Ben Franklin, and we used it as part of our Constitution. But, they forged bonds so that they could figure that out. And, Navajo, do you know what the word Navajo means? Like, we're totally on the sidebar.
I don't.
It means the great enemy. Navajo is what we heard other people calling that tribe. And so we started calling them the Navajo.
Even though, do you know like what they called themselves?
The Dene, I think. See, it's been a hot minute, so my knowledge.
That's super interesting.
Don't anybody get in the comments and yell at me.
Well, I do know that 4th of July was, they say that it's Independence Day, but it's actually not. Do you guys know the true origin of the 4th of July was when the colonies disregarded the king's ruling, because the king was still ruling the United States in some regard, like placing rules for the colonizers. And it was the day that they basically disregarded the rule of you have to stay within these parameters. They disregarded that rule and basically just attacked a bunch of, like, for the most part, like, unassuming or like peaceful native tribes that were around them in these areas they were supposed to not go in. 4th of July was the day that they they had decided screw that, and they didn't listen to the king, and they went and just did whatever they wanted, which was
like, there's so many issues.
Yeah, American history is super dark.
It's super dark when you dig into it. But I will say, in the musical Hamilton, one of my favorite characters is King George, because he's hilarious.
I honestly haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
I know. I'm a total musical nerd.
That's okay.
But the character of King George in Hamilton, he sings this one song where he's like a jilted boyfriend.
Oh my God.
And this song is hilarious because he's like, whatever, you'll be back. And the song is like, I'll be back, you'll da-da. And he's like, you're going to regret breaking up with me, basically. It's like a teenager's.
That's so funny.
It's so awesome because he's so petulant, which I absolutely love that Manuel Miranda wrote it that way, because he's so petulant and so ridiculous. And so,
I mean, that makes sense.
Totally makes sense, and it's so over the top, but it is an amazing musical to see. And you can watch it on Disney now. That
on Disney Plus.
Yeah, just Disney Plus.
Cool.
And log in.
Still not gonna watch.
I know. I was listening to, I'm not going to lie, one morning, Amelia, like we have actually pretty synergistic music. I listen to what she listens to, but there are times when I know this path diverges when I like turn on, Dear Evan Hansen. Walk in
sometimes and she's like listening, and I don't know. I'm just not a musical person. I don't know why. I just never have been. I can't do it. I don't like them. I don't enjoy them. I've never even seen like Grease, which I feel like is like one everyone's seen. I don't know.
With you. Yeah, so I will sometimes turn on things like Dear Evan Hansen or even old stuff because like I am a musical theater geek. I moved to New York as a singer, actress, dancer. So whatever. I'm clearly no Sutton Foster. I am clearly not that person. But I used to. What was it? What was the title for me? I was a singer actor who moved well because I wasn't technically a dancer. But
who moved well?
Isn't that great term for it? So you can be like, so you could be a dancer,
right?
Actress, like so a triple threat is someone like a Sutton Foster or a BB Newirth or whatever, because they dance, they sing, they act, they're amazing. But like if you don't dance, you move well. So that means you might not be able to get a chorus part.
Right.
But you could get by. If you had to be lead actress, you could do that. You just had to have a choreographer who could,
work with you.
That's so funny.
So, and then I had a horrible sinus infection and I've coughed my life away for about 10 years. And so I probably have nodes and a whole litany of other things that keep me from being a good vocalist, and laziness because it's like a muscle, like anything else. So, vocal cords are probably shot, but I can podcast and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. That's it.
That's it, man. So that's it's all good. But so Lin-Manuel Miranda did write an amazing King George to make us feel pretty funny. It's a very funny version, and it speaks to that idea of the American Revolution, and obviously stepping away and saying we're not going to do that, which is really funny. But I love all the little history bits about like I mean. Even in the Middle Ages, there are so many references to healing with plants and plant ingredients and what those ingredients do for you. And we lost
almost all of it, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really did. That practitioner that really realized like the healthy eating, the eating the right foods for your body, making sure that you're, using things. I mean, they were also bloodletting and horrible things.
Well, listen, it's not all perfect.
Right. We can't have it all.
But I think it's, it's kind of that, it's that. And then there's also the responsibility in that and not greenwashing, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of that, like greenwashing in the community where people are like, oh, well, it can only be, grown in my personal garden or else I can't use it. And it's like, okay, like take a step back. We can, we can trust it. Like you said earlier, like we can trust the people who know what they're doing to make us the things that we need. You don't need to go get a pumpkin and ferment it yourself.
Right. I mean, let's just step back for 2 hot minutes.
Right.
Seriously, like this, like go to the natural market or get essential oils or whatever, like concocting. I mean, that's why women in the 50s died from mustard gas because they were using ammonia and vinegar and all these things to clean the home.
Well, and I think that it's really funny too, because people don't realize that like essential oils aren't botanical oils. So like an essential oil is super cheap because it takes like 4 seconds to make, where a botanical oil is typically through a sophisticated distilling process. So whatever that distillation process is, whether it's evaporative or cold pressing or biofermenting or whatever, there's a bunch of different ways to get botanical oils, but there's really only one way to get essential oils, and there's still all of the volatility. It's literally mostly just for scent.
Yeah.
Like essential oils don't have anything good in there. It just smells like the thing.
That's why I had this essential oil, like those reed sticks with the essential oil. This was years ago, and it was by my bedside, and my cat knocked it over, whatever, while I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Whatever. Do you know that it melted my iPhone? And
yes, it'll melt. I melted my TV that way.
Yeah.
I melted a TV when I was a kid that way.
Yeah. No joke. Melted, took the paint and varnish off a dresser.
Yep.
And melted the speakers, like the bottom.
Yeah.
Like I had it in the old school, like stand up, like
my home. Yeah.
Yeah. And it melted the bottom speakers. Like no joke. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, it's so volatile.
So, I mean, science is to be trusted, like absolutely. But I do love that Haoma is clean, real, effective,
responsible. It's the perfect blend because there's these like, it's a smart scientific approach, but with like a green, responsible ingredient. So I think that marriage is so important.
And it's also American. It's out of Texas, right? Where you're based Texas.
Well, so we're actually technically we were based in New York and Brooklyn when we had our office.
Oh, okay.
But since COVID, we don't technically have like an office. So right now we're based all over America and in Texas and California and New York and all over. So
that's so cool. Yeah, because I was always a little confused by that because there was a New York, there was a Texas, there was like all stuff, but it's
there's like UK. There's a bunch of us just kind of working together collectively.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's just really an amazing line, and I love Amelia. What's the code again?
Haoma Citizen.
Haoma Citizen gets you this amazing temple balm.
Yeah.
Very cool. We're super excited. And like I said, I can't say enough about the line. I was the biggest skeptic going into it. So the fact that we even have it at London Beauty is huge.
Yeah.
It was like, whatever, CBD, leave me alone.
100%.
Right? I mean, everyone
feels that way.
Oh, God. I always think of like the really chintzy ones you see at like Speedway, like sitting on the counter.
And I've actually, there's a lot of direct to consumer stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Right. And that's the thing with Haoma. It's not about like a CBD brand. That's not really the vibe. It's just using ingredients that we know work.
Yeah.
And anti-inflammatory was kind of our first step. And that was something that was really important to us as a brand, because I think it's kind of like the way that I look at Haoma as a brand is kind of the way that I look at humans' relationship with the earth, where like first you have to focus on like healing and making things a lot less angry. Oh. So like right now we need to focus on like fixing, the environmental stressors that are going on with the earth and global warming and that kind of stuff. And then once we get done relaxing and chilling that out and getting rid of that anger in the relationship, we can move on to the exfoliation and getting rid of that dead decay with earth and that, that really good exfoliating and detoxifying. And then we can go into the future, which is a positive, abundant relationship, which uses, the mushrooms as kind of a symbiotic simile, so to speak, to growth and change and adaptation. So
as our final comments, what's going on with your eyes? We love it. Like this whole little look you've got going on.
So I use the Kosas bronzer for this around here. So I've been using that as my eyeshadow like every day. And then I just have a little bit of this like pastel-y blue eyeshadow that it's from an Inglot palette that I've had forever that my friend Sarah gave me. And I just love it. And it's this color. I'm trying not to spill out the broken one, but
a little white like through the call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I put a little bit, there's like white mascara here, but it's like picked up some of the blue, but there's like blue underneath and blue on top, but I put like a white base down first.
I love it.
And then my eyebrows are very white.
Very white. We're digging it. We're digging it, girl. Love it.
Thanks.
And we're sending you down the Bleach London rabbit hole because, man.
I can't wait.
We're like,
I don't think we mentioned that on the podcast.
We didn't.
I think we
that's okay.
That was pre-podcast. But we are at we don't carry it at London Beauty. But we should. We rock London Beauty all the time. So Bleach London. I am a normal color, normal person color right now. But I've been pink, I've been purple, I've been all kinds of colors because I figured out at some point, I was like, I don't know, in the 4th grade, and I had a teacher ask me why I frosted my hair. Well, it wasn't really frosting. It was just this white that was coming in across the
right.
So ever since then, I've always colored my hair. I used back in the day, it was called cellophanes. You did these crazy cellophanes on your hair that like made it like beetle colored and looked up in the white and whatever. So I've been coloring my hair since the dawn of living time. And I've had to I remember I went on a European, I was studying art history, and I went all over Europe for like a semester for school. And I had to plan color, like because my hair grew in so fast. I had to color my hair on this trip in college.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I've been coloring my hair forever. Bleach London is, and we don't carry it, sad face. We love them because they have all these crazy colors and you can do them at home.
Ooh, I'll check them out.
We have tutorials online and you can order it from the UK. So we love that because we're, all British and funky. So you can order it from the UK, and I got Amelia hooked on it too because she loves to do her own hair color.
Yeah, whenever I get stressed out, I dye my hair.
Yeah, well,
same. Me too.
Right.
So
that's why my hair is a different color every week.
Yeah. Well, that's why I really like Bleach London. Genuinely, we should have them sponsor the podcast at this point because like they genuinely wash out of your hair. So like after like 10 washes, it's gone.
Fades. Even the darkest colors fade, and they have this really cool slime green now that's like juice greens. And it's like this really pretty soft celadon green. They have pink, they have hot pink, they have red, they have orange, they have literally, and it's not
they're not expensive.
They're not expensive, and it's not damaging.
Also, the fun
is
you can get you can buy their shears. So I've gotten pretty good at cutting my own hair. I mean, probably not that good, but
and they're, of course, you bought them because they're holographic. Yeah,
they're really
cute. Like these little holographic scissors.
Are you kidding me? I literally I will buy anything that is like rainbow.
We apologize in advance for anyone listening and to Samson who goes down the rabbit hole of Bleach London.
Beautiful. Literally, probably daily, Kathleen and I are sending each other like hair styles that we've seen on their page.
And I seriously follow them on Instagram because they show they're good about tutorials. They were really smart about that.
Yeah, they don't try to like hide their process.
No.
I love that.
I additionally love the fact they did a secret mansion in LA for like 3 weeks, and you could book secret appointments in the secret mansion with Bleach London while they were in town for like
fun.
So I'm all about them. I think they're really cool. So we're sending you down a very dark hole.
That's okay. I'm excited.
So you'll have to report back, and then we have to clearly talk to Bleach London because we love them on every level.
They'll have to sponsor.
Clearly, we need to tell Bleach London that we love them. So, but we have had so much fun with you. You have to come back. We have to have a whole nother talk about all the other fun makeup.
It would be fun to have you on just to talk about like drag techniques.
Yeah. I'd love that.
And all the eyebrow and drag and all and I do think as a teaser for that, honestly, like there's so much from drag that has made it into
like your everyday
routine.
100, like most makeup things are that.
Yeah. And it drives me crazy because sometimes I get so tired of these women who are my age who are like, oh, should I be doing whatever it is? And I'm like,
contouring and baking. Right. And it's like
stop.
Pull out.
No.
Like you don't need to do it.
Legit. Yes. If you want to go to a photo shoot, fine. But if you're living your life, stop.
Unless you're gonna come up with a drag name, babe.
Yeah. Like
leave the baked face at home. You better put a wig on if you're gonna do, baked contour.
100%. If you're gonna do those eyelashes and that bake, like let's just put a wig on. Yeah. Give yourself
live your life, babe.
P.S. I've met Lady Bunny, the original Lady Bunny, who was so we're so going over time, and this is so sidebar. But when I first moved to New York, the East Village was still really edgy.
Right.
And there was this silver bar. Can't remember the name. I had a friend who we used to go Flamingo East, had this thing called Flamingo Wednesdays. And after I was a waitress bartender, and we would go there after the restaurant closed on the Upper East Side, and we'd go down to Flamingo East. And then after that, we'd end up in the East Village, and it was called Boy Bar. That was the name of it, called Boy Bar. And it was all silver, and it was in the East Village when the East Village was still kind of edgy. It's not edgy anymore, not even remotely edgy.
No.
But it's a silver thing called the Boy Bar. I have 1,000 inappropriate stories that I won't tell on the podcast, but because there was an upstairs with all these TVs going of inappropriateness. And then I had this guy who I used to bartend with who was, I guess today would be considered bi, maybe, I don't know, but he had a boyfriend at the time, whatever, who was a designer in the East Village. And we would leave the restaurant, go to Flamingo East, and then we'd end up in the East Village at Boy Bar. And it was wild down there at the time. Well, downstairs, Lady Bunny was in her early days, and you could see Lady Bunny perform. And I remember being like, whatever, because Wigstock was still happening in Tompkins Square Park. So I'm super dating myself. But Tompkins Square Park had been cleaned up. It used to be very homeless, sheltery, like tents and homeless. So they'd gone in and cleaned it up. But the East Village still kind of claimed it as their own, and they had this thing called Wigstock, and all the drag queens would like do this like big thing where everyone would dress up in drag and hit Tompkins Square Park. Well, Boy Bar was very near there, so Lady Bunny would occasionally perform, but it was in her early days. And I remember I saw her and I was like, whatever, like what did I know? Like who cares? Lady Bunny is like an institution. Little did I know, I saw her at Boy Bar 100,000 years ago when we were both, just mere slips of things. But I am clearly not over 21. But I saw her and it was such a fun experience. So I always have that fun when I think about
I love that.
I think about Lady Bunny at Boy Bar and that
love that.
Silver. I mean, the East Village is no longer what it used to be. And it's so cleaned up and it's all yuppies and whoever's in the East Village, and it's no longer easy or dangerous in any way, shape, or form. The Alphabet City is no longer.
No, nothing is. Nothing is, honestly, truly, especially now with the pandemic. I mean, it's all gone to shit.
But I mean, that's like a whole nother conversation. So Samson, you will be back. We have so much more to talk about. This is so much fun. And Haoma, I love this. Legit one of our favorite brands. And just a surprise hit in terms of our clients and what we know about it.
Yeah, so, like literally the first week we had it, I think we sold out of almost everything.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, really insane. We love it. We this has been so informative. I can't thank you enough.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Hang on to your link for a second. We are going to say goodbye. Everybody, don't forget. It is
Haoma Citizen, which is Haoma. I always spell Haoma wrong. Just I don't know why.
And I did ask Amelia, what if someone can't spell citizen? So if you can't spell it, Google it, type it in. You will get this amazing little
CITIZEN, citizen.
Yeah, exactly. Citizen. So type it in. It is this amazing, cool pouch. We are so thrilled to have it. We are so thrilled to have a partner in Haoma. And we can't wait to see you guys or speak to you guys next week. I think it's just going to be me and Amelia next week. I just rocking a little bit about Ask Me. So tune in next week. We will see you then. We love you guys. And
we'll see you soon.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.